You said no, right? If you're anything like me, you listen to a number of productivity podcasts, you read a number of productivity blogs, and you, above all else, watch a number of productivity YouTubers. And they all have told you how important it is to say no. The power of no. Say yes to a couple of things, say no to a million others. But how do you know what to say yes to and what to say no to? That's what today's video is all about. Hey there, I'm Kelly. I'm a father of 6, I'm a full-time software developer at Rescue Time, and I am Dean of Digital Campus at Sigma University. And on this channel, I try to provide you with productivity tips to help you be more efficient at work so you can get more done in less time, freeing you up to spend time with loved ones and on your creative pursuits. One of the most important ways you can do this is by saying no to things. I'm sure you've heard that before. Say yes to 1 or 2 things that you can really focus on and say no to all the rest. I am the perfect person to be talking to you about this because I absolutely stink at this. Yes, ask my wife and she will tell you that, in her opinion, I say no to nothing. All of the crazy ideas that come into my head, I will say yes to and jump at them and stick with them for all of 2 weeks. Like Fish Club. No, not Fish Club, but like, go fishy, fishy, fishy. That kind of Fish Club. I did that. Twice. If you've been watching my recent videos, you know that I have taken up 2 new hobbies. I've taken up violin and I've taken up Japanese. And unfortunately, one of these was not on time. That was Japanese. What I want to do today is talk about how I figured that out and why I really knew that back in August when I signed up for the class, and why I really should have listened to that insight instead of suffering for the next 2 months through classes. Now, before going any further into this, I want to dive into the foundations for these beliefs I have, and that falls into my Christian faith, which is very important to me. I believe that God has laid out a perfect path ahead of all of us, and it is our choice whether or not we follow that path or not. I believe that if we follow the path God has laid out for us, we will have the best possible life. We will be the most full of joy. Yes, we will have struggles and hardships, but we will be the happiest and the most full of joy if we follow His will. And I think we can know that for every single decision in our life, including whether or not we should take Japanese. Now wait, please don't leave this video even if you're not a Christian, because I think this applies to everyone. I think we all internally know what decisions we should make, and it's just up to us to take a step back, go into a quiet place, and just meditate for a little bit and figure out if what we're about to do is on time or not. But before I get into how I really knew this back in August and didn't listen to it, let's talk about how I realized it now and made the decision to stop taking classes. And when I say how I realized it, it was more like this. You see this? This is my Japanese textbook. It kind of was like, yeah, it hurt. The thing is, maybe 8 classes into my Japanese, pretty much life just stopped being enjoyable. I would wake up each morning and I would not be relaxed and rejuvenated for the day ahead. I was no longer enjoying what I was doing every single day. Now, for those of you who love Apple as much as I do, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this Steve Jobs quote. And he said that, I have looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. And that pretty much sums up my experience for the past month or 2. I'd wake up, not be rejuvenated, be stressed out, and really not looking forward to the day whatsoever. I was on edge with my friends and family. I was starting to not make progress in my violin lessons and not take as much joy in that either, which was a real shame because it was so life-giving before that. Now, my tendency is and always has been, when I hit a roadblock, to power through that roadblock with all my personal strength and power. So that's what I tried to do. I doubled down on Japanese. I spent 2-ish hours a day, and more time on Saturday. And so this is what happened a week or two ago. I went into McDonald's on a Saturday morning. I opened up my textbooks, pulled up my flashcard application, and I sat down and studied for 3 to 4 hours. My intent was to get completely caught up with Japanese, so I was no longer behind in the class. I'm pretty sure, lowest in the class, which was, this is not meant as a humble brag, but that was a new experience for me. I think if I have any teachers watching, don't crush my hopes. I've never been the best in the class, but I've never been the lowest either. And it felt bad, especially given how much time and energy I was putting into this. But anyway, my plan was to get fully caught up with Japanese, and that's what I did. I sat there, I worked hard, I got caught up to the first chapter. We were on chapter 3. I left McDonald's, and somewhere on the drive home, I realized, hey, I need to stop this. I need to just say no to Japanese classes. Instantly, life came back. I was still physically exhausted, but I was at peace again. And I was enjoying life again. Now, it took a couple of days for my body to fully recover from the stresses that I had put on it from the month or two prior. But that coming week, when I picked up the violin for practice, I started making progress again. If you watch my last video on my monthly violin progress, you'll remember that I said that I felt like I hit my first plateau. I think this was tied with the stresses caused by Japanese. As soon as I said no to the Japanese, I started to make progress again. So is there something in your life like this? Is there something that just pulls all energy and all life from you? This is how you can know if you said yes to something that you should have said no to. Are you stuck in something where you are just throwing all of your life and energy and attention at it, so much so that it drains all the joy and fulfillment from every area of your life? If so, sit back and ask yourself, should I continue doing this? Chances are I'm betting the answer is no. The problem is, we're humans, and our own wants and desires and dreams and ambitions and fears get in the way. So be careful with this. Really sit on it and dig deep and figure out, is there a peace, a joy, a rest? I think that is the best word, a just rest and stillness to continue going forward. I like to look at it, let's say like a water bottle. We're each given a full water bottle, and it's our water bottle of energy, our water bottle of life. And we can pour out a little bit of that life on various activities. The problem for me is I was pouring everything out on Japanese. Now, this would have been much cooler if this was open, but that would have resulted in a wet lap, which I didn't want. Which left no life for anything else. And that was not acceptable to me. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, okay, so obviously you're putting all this life and energy and blah, you're hating Japanese, of course you know. But you could not possibly have known that back in August before you started the class. Well, the thing is, I did know that. I did. You may choose not to believe me, but I knew I should not be signing up for this Japanese class. Why? Was it because I was not looking forward to it? Was it because I was not excited for it? Yes, I was excited for it. I want to watch anime in Japanese. I want to read manga in Japanese. I want to read 20th century literature in Japanese. And above all else, because I can get all of those in translation, I want to read academic journals in Japanese because for some reason they haven't translated those into English, and I want to pursue my anime studies. Yes, I would like to continue Japanese at some day. I was excited by it. I was happy about it. I was looking forward to it. But there was this uneasy feeling in me, deep in me, very deep, that I very easily ignored, telling me, hey, maybe now's not the right time. Remember our book demonstration? It was kind of like this. Just a little nudge, a little bit, a couple times a day, just a light tap. And it got worse as classes started and time went on, until eventually, that actually did hurt, it got so painful I had to stop. Because if I didn't, it would only continue to get worse. As I tend to do, this has gotten a little bit rambly. I am sorry for that. The point of this is very simple. I don't think it's about saying no to everything. I think it is about saying yes to what is on time and in the moment. And I think every single person on this planet can do this. We can ask ourselves, is this what I should be focused on right now? And deep down, I think if you remove all these distractions that we love so much, I think you will be able to feel it. Matter of fact, I promise you, you will be able to feel it if you really try and step back. And here's the great thing. If you're confused and you're not really sure about that, ask a friend. They're smart. They know you. Probably in some ways better than you know yourself. Talk with them. And if you both think you have the right way going together, try it. Just pay attention to the knocking of the Japanese book. If it starts to get a little harder, stop sooner. Please, stop sooner. Till next time, sayonara.